All right, all right. Hey, everybody out there. You're tuned in to the Mother's Justice Show here on 1150 AM KKNW, Alternative Talk Radio. Today will be another one of our special engagements by myself. I am Chukundi Salisbury Sr., and for full transparency, Reverend Harriet Walden is my mother. And so today will be one of our, again, Black Legacy homeowner takeovers. And we're thankful for the Mother's Justice Show giving us this platform to be able to, reach listeners, expand our network, and be able to bring our message to the masses. As often, our priorities as Black Legacy homeowners most certainly coincide with the priorities of the Mother's Justice Show. Shout out to Reverend Walden, Mama, if you will, for the opportunity and the ability to engage here on the platform. My name is Chukundi Salisbury, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Black Legacy homeowners and the work that we've been doing in community. As well as some of the things we have coming up. And then in the second half of the hour, we're going to have a guest on the show, Jessica White Talton, who is with Movement Mortgage. And more importantly, she has been one of the key drivers and individuals helping folks get into homes under the Covenant Act here in the state of Washington. And so that's going to be an exciting conversation as that bill was also reintroduced or repassed, if you will, passed again in the last legislative session. I'm excited to talk to Jessica and just get some updates around that. And then speaking of the covenant bill, our prayers and thoughts, real prayers and real thoughts, not just, the political prayers and thoughts go out to our good friend and colleague and most certainly community member, Representative Jamila Taylor from Federal Way, who was is one of the key drivers of the Covenant program, and she saw that through and did that work. So very excited to see her on her road to recovery. Folks that may or may not know, she suffered a stroke. And I would like to think, or I do think, that it really happened because she works so hard on behalf of not only the residents of her district in Federal Way, but most certainly on behalf of all the residents of Washington and acutely making sure that Black people, especially Black homeowners and those future Black homeowners, get their piece of the pie. Today's show is brought to you it's brought to you from the Mother's Justice Show and Mothers for Police Accountability. But our work here on the show is sponsored in part by Black Homeowner Magazine, which is a new magazine aimed at the growing and thriving community of Black homeowners here in Western Washington, across Washington State, Oregon, and really across the country. We know that in a time when folks talk about, many of the economic issues and the shrinking of things, there is an incredible amount of young Black homeowners and Black homeowners that are increasing and buying homes. And it's important that we celebrate those. We most certainly have many platforms on this station and others that speak to the work that we have to do in this area and around equity, diversity, and inclusion, and the assault, if you will, of the federal administration on these values. But within that, there most certainly is some progress, and there most certainly families that are lives are being changed on a weekly, daily, monthly, yearly basis, with folks getting into homes and realizing that American dream. Because we know that the American dream was deferred for us for many years, and we overcame many barriers to be able to get into homes. And so while there is a lot of disparaging, data and stats, if you look at the erasure of the Black community here in Seattle, Washington, one of the stats that is most certainly disparaging is that Black home ownership over time has really gone down since the 1970s here in Washington State, right? But again, through the Covenant program and other great programs, I think that I like to think that Black home ownership is most certainly on the rise. So great. We're going to be so again. This segment today is brought to us by Black Homeowner Magazine, and you can find them at blackhomeownermag.com. Again, that's blackhomeownermag.com. So lots of exciting things happening with Black Legacy Homeowners. If you are a big fan of ours or you're just finding out about us, we invite you to our upcoming meeting. We've got a meeting coming up here this Sunday at the McKinney Center on Jackson Street in Seattle, Washington at 4 o'clock p.m. And folks can register for that meeting at blacklegacyhomeowners.org. Again, that meeting is this Sunday at the McKinney Center on Jackson Street in Seattle, Washington. And folks can register online at the website at blacklegacyhomeowners.org. This week, we're going to be talking specifically around many of the grant programs in the community and their ability to help us, right? There's always a constant struggle, just kind of knowing what information is out there. And one of the reasons, just in fact, let me just take it back for folks that are just now learning about the Black Legacy homeowner movement. I just wanted to take a minute to speak to who we are and what we do. We're just a collection of Black homeowners who are working to empower each other to be able to make the best decisions around our property and generational wealth. And now for some folks that might mean, how to put your home in a trust to ensure that your children are able to and family are able to benefit from that after you're gone, right? There's also, we talk about resources. We connect our members with resources such as for foreclosure assistance, right? We know that oftentimes we make the worst decisions at our lowest moment. And we know that people make these kind of decisions, right? One of the things that really sparked me to get involved and to actually start this movement is I had a neighbor who ended up having to have a short sale on her home. And I wonder, she passed away, and I just wonder if she knew that there were programs like the HALF program that's some of that money is administered by our good friends over at the Urban League, where they can, at the time, they had up to $60,000 to help people stay in their homes, right? So there's many resources in our community to help folks, but oftentimes we don't know about them, or we don't know about them in time, right? The other thing with Black Legacy homeowners, when we talk about the ability to make the best decisions, we're not here to vilify anyone that may want to sell their property. There's folks that, they retired from Boeing or whatever, and maybe didn't want to move back to Mississippi, and that's okay. But one of the things we know for a fact is that nobody's going to knock on your door and give you the most competitive price for your property. And we know that Black people, and most certainly people of color, are the folks who are most likely to get taken advantage of by predatory developers, predatory lenders, and flippers who are looking to just come in and and take over, right, and give you some price that's not even worth it. One of our friends over at Uplift, um, um, our friend Caleb over at Uplift, our resource equity group, really talks about his experience where he had a trusted person. He was trying to help his uncle sell his property, and a trusted person tried to give him $300,000 to $400,000 less than what the property was worth, right? And so, what we want to do at Black Legacy Homeowners is ensure that the folks that do want to sell their property in some way, maybe they want to, do something different, they're not taken advantage of. So that's the kind of work we're doing in Black Legacy Homeowners, and we're really excited about that. And we have monthly meetings where we connect our members and community, not only with each other, but the resources that they can utilize to stay in their homes and be able to thrive in their environment. And that's what we do. And so, again, folks can sign up at blacklegacyhomeowners.org, RSVP for the meeting. And our meetings are at the McKinney Center on Jackson, where we've and after the break, we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about our historic partnership with the McKinney Center and the Central District Central District Community Preservation and Development Authority. We'll talk about that right after the break. So we'll be right back. This is Chukundi with Black Legacy Homeowners.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
All right. Hey, this is Chukundi Salisbury, and I'm coming to you live here in the Black Legacy Homeowner takeover, if you will, of the Mother's Justice Show here on 1150 KKNW. Thank you for listening today. My name is Chukundi again, and I am the son of one of Reverend Walden's sons, and she's been gracious enough to lend us this platform to talk about this amazing project that we have going called the Black Legacy Homeowners. And so this particular segment of the show today, this next quarter hour, is powered by Converge Media, which reminds you to check out them www.whereweconverge.com, where they have many of their shows, including Back to Besa, The Day with Trey, and We Live in Color with Deontay Dampier. So again, thank you to Converge Media for your support of the show today. So in this segment, if you're just joining us, again, I'm with Black Legacy Homeowners. That's blacklegacyhomeowners.org to learn more about what we do. I wanted to talk a little bit about the historic partnership that we've entered into with the Central District Community Preservation and Development Authority, affectionately known as CDC PDA. All right, that is a mouthful. And so, but that organization manages the McKinney Center. So for long-time Seattleites, they'll know that the McKinney Center is basically the old SVI building. And the SVI building for years served our community and helping folks get the necessary skills to be able to move into community and for financial not only financial gain, but being able to have the skills and tools to build a great life. And it was the Seattle Vocational Institute. And now that building has been reclaimed as part of the Development Authority, and the building has been renamed the McKinney Center. And so Black Legacy Homeowners is proud to partner with the Development Authority. And through our partnership, we're going to be working to create a Black homeownership hub at the McKinney Center. And so that's going to start off with our hosting our monthly meetings there. So our next monthly meeting is coming up on this Sunday at June 22nd at 4 p.m. And folks can log on to the website. Can log on to the website at blacklegacyhomeowners.org and register for that. And so, this partnership is really cool because it really aligns with what we're doing in terms of anti-displacement work. And what the development district is doing is is also anti-displacement and anti-gentrification by helping to work with not only individuals, but community organizations such as ourselves to help Black people thrive in the Central District, right? And so that could mean many things, right? But one of the things it really means to the district, right, is that it's, we're emphasizing, this project is about, empowerment, connection, and ownership. And I think that's really important, right? While we have done amazing work in this community around rentals, right? Allowing people to come back home. There's many right of return programs that the Office of Housing and other major nonprofits have been doing to allow young people and folks who grew up in the central area to come home and be able to get into some of these amazing new rental buildings that are popping up in the CD, and we continue to grow, which is great. But one of the things we do know is that rent can change, right? And most certainly the rent you pay, you never get back. So I think, one of the toeholds, of course, is we want people to be here, but now we want to transition folks into as much housing and permanent home ownership that we can. And so, what does that mean? That means really having a place, right? Because we know that Black people in general, right? People in general, but most certainly Black people in general, we do well when we're together. So I want to thank everybody for listening in on the radio, but we know that we're much more powerful people and things resonate when we're in person, which is one of the reasons that the pandemic hit our community so hard, because we really like to gather and talk in person. We feed off of energy. We feed off of camaraderie. We feed off of vibes, right? And so you most certainly can get some of those vibes over the airways, if you will, or through a Zoom or, or a FaceTime, right? But the reality is we thrive when we're in person. We learn better in person. We learn better in person from people who not necessarily always have to look like us. That is a huge plus, but speak to us in a way in our love language. We know that they mean the best for us, right? So we do well in environments like that. And that is one of the things that we want to create at the Black Homeownership Hub at the McKinney Center through this partnership with the Development Authority, is that we want a place where people can come in and sit down, right? And since we can come in and sit down and talk to somebody and see a variety of the things that are available. One of the things that we found when doing this work is that oftentimes you have amazing organizations doing great things, but they do them in their lane, right? They have their ecosystem and their down payment assistance, their home ownership class, and ultimately that is the ecosystem for their program, right? And then you might have another organization which has down payment assistance, um, classes, perhaps financial literacy, credit repair, or what have you, but it's only in their ecosystem. And so, as a potential or future homeowner, a home buyer, it's difficult to know about all of these things. And so, what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, especially through our partnership with the McKinney Center here and our ads and the promotions that we're doing through Black Homeowner Magazine, we're able to offer people a place to, a sense of place to be able to come and get this information. So that's really what we're trying to do, or what we are doing with this partnership at the and building this Black home ownership hub within the McKinney Center. And the great thing is they got plenty of space. That's an amazing building. If you haven't been by there in a while, that's what's going on. So there's other community groups and CBOs that are based in there. And so our hub will, hopefully be able to connect with those folks as well. There's a computer lab and other tools that we'll be using. And yeah, just really excited to be able to work with Sade Moore and the whole team over at the McKinney building. And so look for that. Look for that information on our website at the Black Legacy Homeowners .org. And I really like this quote that I saw from Sade, who's the CEO of the Development Authority. And she says, CDC PDA is honored to partner with Black Legacy Homeowners to center Black families in the conversation around housing justice and equity. And that's a quote from Sade Moore, who's the CEO over there. And, it's really important. I know sometimes people say, well, why do we have to do Black Legacy Homeowners, and what's that about? And really it's about, the fact is that, while we honor everybody who's BIPOC and the like, it's important that there's justice for everybody. And what happens with these terms is that sometimes folks get left out, right? I was someplace the other day, this was actually last year, but what we were talking about, an organization did some outreach to the BIPOC community. And, I said, well, did you talk to any Black people, like foundational, like descendants of slaves, Black people? And they hadn't, right? And I just think it's disingenuous when you can say that you reach, because, many people think when you say BIPOC that you, in fact, reached out to all of those folks. And the reality is that you haven't, right? And so if you've only done outreach in the Asian community, say that. Right? If you've only done outreach in our, Habesha community, say that then, right? But to say, you've done BIPOC outreach and you haven't reached all these different folks, then, I think that's disingenuous. So the reason why we're the Black Legacy Homeowners is that we really want to be intentional about our work, and with the thought that is that if, when Black people do well, everyone does well, right? While we know that trickle-down economics usually don't work, right? We learned that for my old school people, we learned that in the Reagan era, right? But we most certainly know the other cliche, if you will, the rising tide raises all boats. And I think in our community, especially around housing and economic development, we know that if Black home ownership is on the rise, Black business is doing well, then most certainly everybody will do well. And so that's one of the reasons that we're called the Black Legacy Homeowners. So super excited about this partnership that the Black Legacy Homeowners have with the Central District Community Preservation and Development Authority and their CEO, Sade. So we're going to be right back. We're going to take a little break here shortly, but we'll have coming back on the other side of the half hour here, we'll have our guest, Jessica Talton White, who's with Movement Mortgage. And we'll be talking about the covenant program and all of the layers to that and the exciting news about what's up next. So coming back soon, you're listening to the Mother's Justice Show, Black Legacy Homeowner Takeover. Be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the Mother's Justice Show, the Black Legacy Homeowner Takeover here on 1150 a.m. My name is Chukundi Salisbury, and I am, for full transparency, the son of Reverend Harriet Walden, and we want to thank her for allowing us to use her platform today in the Mother's Justice Show to talk about the work that we're doing with Black Legacy Homeowners here in Seattle, Washington, and beyond. And as I talked about before the break, I'm really excited to welcome our guests for these next two segments of the show. But before I do that, I just want to shout out this segment. This 15-minute segment is brought to us by Black Homeowner Magazine, and you can check them out at blackhomeownermag.com. It's an excellent print publication that speaks about the best work going on not only how we can increase Black home ownership, but then keep those homes in our community. So thank you to Black Homeowner Mag. So without further ado, Jessica is our guest, and I want to bring her on. Let me just give a brief introduction. She is a trusted advisor in our community with Team Talton, where she does mortgages. But I just know her as a great community person, a person that really loves helping people and helping Black people specifically. And I just know that she's a go-getter and is going to do the best in whatever she's working on. And I love the fact that she's working on helping Black people get into homes. So Jessica, how you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
And life is good. Life is good, man. So super excited that you could join us here on the Black Legacy Black Homeowner Takeover here on the 1150. And so can you just tell us a little bit about, your role and what you do in general? I know you do a lot of stuff, right? But you're a mortgage professional by trade, and you've been helping folks get into homes for a long time now. Can you just kind of introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. So I'm Jessica Talton, branch leader and originator with Movement Mortgage. I've been in finance for over 15 years, specifically mortgage, a little over 12 years now, top 1% originator in the country. And I truly am intentional and find great passion in serving community and educating my community. You'll find me on the weekends on panels, teaching home buyer classes. I'm a firm believer in when you educate people, you empower them. And I love to empower people through home ownership because there's power in ownership. So a lot of the times people will ask me what I do for a living, and I got this from my regional. We get the opportunity to create millionaires. And it's not just about the money, it's about the freedom that comes with it when you're an owner, that financial freedom. And that's what I want every member of our community to obtain and accomplish. When I come into contact with them, I want them to leave more informed than they were before they met me. And that's the goal. So that's a little bit about what I do: serve community,
Man,
educate, uplift,
I,
and inform.
yes, I love that. I love that. And I've seen that in person and in real life, and that's one of the best things about the work that you're doing. I would think, even though obviously I'm not a mortgage professional and I don't sell homes, and I'm mostly dealing with people who have already got their home. But it's got to be an amazing feeling when you guys help people, go through some of these classes, and especially folks that didn't think they could do it. Right? You
Yes.
get so many people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm saving up for a home," and I talk to them, and they've been saving up for 8 years. I'm just like,
Yes.
at this point, and we'll talk a little bit about this and why the covenant program is so exciting. At this point in our area, the reality is that most people will never be able to save enough
Right.
to be in King County, specifically, and that's in a lot of places across the country, and which is
Right.
why some of these down payment assistance programs are so exciting. Now, I know I read in your bio that your mother actually, when you were a child, got some down payment assistance. Is that true? Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my mom purchased our family home on 39th in Oregon with Homesite. I think Homesite opened in 91 and she purchased in 1992. So she was one of the first families to go through their program. And their program is what made home ownership possible for my mom and our family. So it's always been something near and dear to my heart just from personal experience. And so, yeah, that's what got me interested in the business.
Wow. Yeah. Shout out to Daryl and the whole team over at Home Site. I
Yes.
actually saw their I was flipping through Black Homeowner magazine and I saw their ad on the back cover for that their affordable building that they're going to be having over at on Othello Street. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jessica, now I know that you have been one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show today, right, is that there's been many folks who are going through the covenant program. And in fact, let's just talk briefly about the covenant program. Can you just give our listeners, for people who, just a quick kind of like 2 minute, like if you're in an elevator with somebody, what
Yep.
is the covenant program? Just in two minutes.
Yes, it's an amazing game changing program. If yourself, your parents, or grandparents resided in Washington State prior to April 11th of 1968, and you fall into one of the nationalities that qualify for the program, you're eligible to receive 20% down payment in addition to having your closing costs covered. This is the first program we've had like this in the state of Washington, actually in the country. And it gets even better with the new Trailer Act. If you're 80% or below the area median income, after living in the home for 5 years, you could potentially qualify to have that whole loan forgiven, that whole 20% in closing costs completely forgiven. So this is not something to be slept on, and we got to show up and take advantage of these amazing opportunity that we have before us.
Yeah, so it's so cool. The thing about the covenant program, what I think is amazing about it is, and I've had to remind our members at Black Legacy Homeowners, right? Because as you know, our program, many of our members are already homeowners, right? So it's kind of like foreign to them to talk about a home ownership program, that's helping people buy homes. And it was so funny because we had a meeting and I said, well, no, the covenant program's not for you, Big Mama. It's to get little Ray Ray out your basement.
Right.
And then once I said that, the light bulb went on. And so this is about generational wealth, and it's about
Yes.
families being able to even acquire multiple homes across their family, right? Like everybody doesn't have to live in Big Mama's house forever. right? And so these
Yes.
kind of programs can help families. I know that I was talking to what is his name, Pastor Proctor over at Church by the Side of the Road, and they were telling me about their niece or their daughter that the grandma had came for here to Pasco in 1956 and moved to Seattle and met the grandfather and life went on. And they had all these kids and all of that, and now the great or the granddaughter or the great granddaughter is just now buying a home, and it was just based upon grandma living here in the 50s and 60s and being basically discriminated against in those housing covenants back then. And now this young person was able to buy their first home, and the
Right.
parents are able to say, okay, well, now you're out on your own. And it's great because now there's multiple homes in the family. They're able to pool that wealth if need be. So
Yes.
that's really exciting when I hear those kind of stories.
Yes, that's the intent of the program. And we've helped people as young as 23 years old purchase their first property with the program. I'm sure there's others that have helped other community members that may be even younger, but the word is getting around, and we're seeing people at younger ages come forward to say, hey, they want to step into home ownership. They want to see what this program's about. So it's just been beautiful, the things that it's done in our community.
Yeah, and it's exciting, and I know that we don't spend a lot of time on naysayers, but one of the things I think is exciting about it, because that I've had to kind of rebuke people when they talk about their tax dollars, right? And the reality is that the Covenant Homeownership Program is funded through this $100 document recording fee. So this is not like the sales tax on your bag of Cheetos
No.
or what have you. This is not money that was supposed to go to roads or whatever and has been rerouted. This tax, this $100 that's going into this fund, is related. It's about home ownership. It's when other properties sell, and it self generates the fund, right? So
Right.
I think that that's a good thing for folks to remember when they talk about the covenant program and where this money is coming from. And quite frankly, it is a form of reparations, right? I mentioned
Correct.
that, and it's exciting that our state is one of the first states that is taking these types of reparations seriously. We're putting reparations in action right now, right? And I think that,
Right.
as you talk to people about it, it's again, it's super exciting that we can actually get some kind of recourse because I posted a few weeks ago, and I'm sure you know about this, but um, one of the reasons that we have some of these ultra nice neighborhoods that have kind of withstood this test of time is that they had these really restrictive racial covenants, thus the name of the covenant program. I was down in Montlake, and so all those houses have that Tudor style down in Montlake, but they couldn't buy, the black people couldn't buy there,
Right.
Asian people couldn't buy there, Latino people couldn't buy there.
Right.
In fact, you had to only be white to live in Montlake, right? And the same thing with, many places in Laurelhurst and other places in Seattle, Washington. So to have this covenant program is pretty exciting stuff. Now, I heard that you're one of the top producers, if you will, of or you call it originating. I'm sorry, I'm not a mortgage
It's
professional, but
okay.
I know you get it done. Can you talk
Yes.
a little bit? How many families have you personally helped since this program came out?
We have closed over 90 covenant loans since the program first launched July 1st of 2024.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you say closed out, that's people. Now I saw on your Facebook page that you work with all type of real estate agents and everything else, and
Yes.
and and you guys just get it done. How is that working with so many different real estate agents? I'm sure that they all try to get your attention the most, but how do you just keep yourself up and above the fray and just get to doing the work?
What do they say? When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It truly is passion driven. And when you serve a bigger purpose, you just keep going. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what we do. We have great systems and processes. And I don't do this work alone. I have a team. I have 5 assistants that are part of Team Talton that make this work possible, that show up every day, work long hours, overtime. We are not your traditional lender. We go above and beyond for our clients.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I
so,
love that for you. So listen, when we come back after this short break, we're going to talk about the down payment assistance and some of the nuts and bolts of it, and layering and what and different programs and all of that. This is the Black Legacy Homeowner Takeover here on the Mother's Justice Show, and we'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the final segment of the Black Legacy Homeowner Takeover here on the Mother's Justice Show here on 1150 a.m. And this last segment of the show today is brought to us again by Converge Media, Where We Converge. You can look them up on whereweconverge.com to learn about their incredible shows, Back to Besa, The Day with Trey, and We Live in Color. That's Converge Media. Thank you for your support of the show today. So our special guest today is here, Jessica from Team Talton at Movement Mortgage. And Jessica, so before the break, in the last segment, you talked a little bit about the importance for down payment assistance and programs like the Covenant program and others, and the fact that, folks need that to get into these homes. In fact, but the game has changed a lot since when, you mentioned your brother had bought that house years ago through HomeSite.
right.
And the reality is it's often difficult to, even with down payment assistance, to get into a property, even if you've done the classes and everything else. And I know that there's a thing called layering or stacking that I've heard in community. Can you talk a little bit about that and how it relates to these different programs and the need for that?
Yeah, so layering's been around for a while with down payment assistance programs. You can stack up to about 8 different programs with one client. So it's just a matter of knowing where the resources are and figuring out what boxes the client fits in. And some programs you're allowed to layer with others, some you're not. So it's very important to know your program guidelines and parameters. So for example, I had a client that she's a single mom, makes 20-something dollars an hour. She was able to afford a home through the Covenant program and layering some other funds that are available through the various programs out here. And she was able to buy a home, single mom, 2 baby girls. Without these programs being layered, she wouldn't have been able to afford a home. And a lot of people may say, well, if she wasn't able to afford a home, should she be a homeowner? Of course, that's what these programs are for. These clients are able to walk away with a mortgage payment that's lower than what they're paying in rent. So I think what a lot of times people forget is the cost of living is so high. People are just getting by with these elevated rent amounts. Now they're able to purchase a home, have a monthly payment that's lower than their rent. Now they have money to put in savings because of these programs. So this is a really big game changer. There's various organizations, United Housing Resources, City of Tacoma, Urban League, Bird Bar, Home Site, there's Central Cultural Mexicano. They all have various programs that you can layer with each other in partnership with the Covenant loan. So these programs put together are real game changers when it comes to the challenges that we have with affordability. King County, Washington State is a high cost market, period. It's one of the more expensive states to live in. And so these programs are vital to our community members to be able to combat affordability issues to where they can live in the same city that they work in, they can avoid that hour commute, which is additional gas and miles on their car, or give them that hour back with their family, their babies. And so, I mean, it's just been life changing for the families that are able to take advantage of the programs.
Mm. Yeah, no doubt. And I hear that passion in your voice, which is great. Yeah, and I thought about that because I was somewhere out in the community and folks were talking about layering programs. And quite frankly, it came up and somebody said, well, man, how is it that you're able to do that? Right. And so I'm glad you explained that. And what I heard you say, or what I'm feeling you saying, is that each program is a little bit different. So in
Yes,
some cases you may be able to stack a down payment on top of another down payment. In other cases you might not, right? And at the
correct.
end of the day, it is something that's legal to do. And one of the things we want to do with the resource hub, we talked about this before you came on, but Black Legacy Homeowners just signed an agreement with the McKinney Center over there off Jackson, and we're going to be hosting a Black homeownership hub where folks can come and basically get some of the information on all of these programs, right? Because it seems to be that it's that while it's most certainly something that's necessary and needed for folks to do, you really, as you mentioned, you got to know your programs, right? You got to
Right,
know where they're at and how to check the trap, if you will. And so I think part of our mission with Black Legacy Homeowners, as we work with future home buyers, is to kind of help aggregate and put this stuff in one place where folks can come and hear about it and know some of their options, right? As well as put the information out to community, the correct information,
right,
right? That stacking and layering, if you will, is okay, depending on the situation, right? I know I was talking to Daryl from Homesite the other day, and he was telling me that they weren't able to give out any of their Sam Smith money this year because it's structured in such a way that they didn't have anybody that qualified for it, right? So
right,
on the flip side, while you hear about certain individuals or folks that were able to layer to get into their homes, you have some organizations where there's so many strings on some of this money that they're not able to even get some of it out, right? Have you heard about situations like that as well?
I have heard about that Sam Smith situation, and there are programs that do have more restrictive guidelines. However, I think there's people out there, we just have to know how to reach those people. And so that's where me and my team have been really successful in doing so. We've been doing this community work for almost 13 years now. And so we have a whole database of clients that we're reaching back out to that weren't previously able to get pre approved, telling them there's opportunities now. And so that's why we've been so successful with the Covenant program, along with our constant community outreach through the panels and the homebuyer classes, and just getting out and spreading the word. So I think if there are programs that are having a hard time getting the funding out, we need to come together and support those programs and connect them with the right people, because there's got to be somebody out there, or see what we can do to make some adjustments to those guidelines to where there's more people that can take advantage of it, because we never want to leave money on the table that could change clients' lives. So for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm really excited about with the new covenant trailer bill, if you will, is
Yes.
this is how they increase the income threshold from 100 to 120%. Now that's really exciting for us, especially
Right.
as Black people. That's a game changer, right?
Yes.
Because there's so many people out here that they're a few dollars over the threshold,
Right.
and even the people that are at 100% AMI, and for listeners that don't know, AMI means area median income. We have people that are leveraged all the way up. Just because they make this amount of money doesn't mean that they have that kind of money to be able
Correct.
to spend. We oftentimes, I say this at our meetings all the time, that Black people, the person with the house is usually the bank for the family. So they're the person
Right.
that's helping little Shanika go to college, or they taking out some money to bail somebody out of jail, or they don't help little Ray get a car, right? They're the person that's taking out home equity loans to do all kinds of things other than improve their home. and sometimes they just don't have it like that. So it's important to raise these thresholds and tweak these programs. So yeah, that's exciting work, man. Well, man, Jessica, I'm really excited that you were able to join us today. How can people get in touch with you and learn more about what you're doing, especially in relation to the Covenant program?
My phone number, they can reach me directly, 206-551-4058. They can go to my website, www.teamtalton.com, and they can email me, jessica.talton@movement.com.
Well, there you go, folks. You heard from Jessica, man. And Jessica, like I said, I'm excited to see you. And I know we'll be working and doing some stuff in community.
Yes,
Hope that we can have you come down to the Black Homeownership Hub and do some of the classes and the work that you've been doing. And yeah,
yes,
the mission continues, as
yes.
Nipsey would say.
That's right. We got work to do.
We do. All right, fam. So I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. Y'all. So that was Jessica Talton, and she's doing amazing work in helping people get into homes through the Covenant program and other tools. And that's what we're doing here at Black Legacy Homeowners. Is not, again, not just helping people stay in their homes. We're also looking to help folks get into homes and become Black Legacy homeowners themselves. Um, Before we go, I just wanted to have a couple of announcements. Again, we're going to have our Black Legacy Homeowners monthly meeting this Sunday, June 22nd at the McKinney Center on Jackson. And folks that are interested in coming to our meeting can register at blacklegacyhomeowners.org. That's this upcoming Sunday at the McKinney Center. And again, we want to remind folks that check out our sponsors, the folks who help bring the show to you today, and that's Black Homeowner Magazine. And you can find them at blackhomeownermag.com. Look for our ad, the Black Legacy Homeowner ad in that magazine. And then, of course, our friends over at Converge Media at whereweconverge.com. Special shout out to our good friend, Miss Linda Taylor, who's been helping folks, and we're going to bring her back on one of these episodes soon. My name is Chukundi Salisbury Sr., and again, we want to thank Reverend Harriet Walden for allowing the space today here on the Mother's Justice Show and the Black Legacy Homeowner Takeover. Check us out at blacklegacyhomeowners.org, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.